Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We had Emilio. He may have gotten a knock at the door.
I'm sorry. I started cracking up as we started, and it just got
if you guys, one of these days, we're going to make it exclusive to the Patreon group. We're going to let y'all hear the pregame jam sessions that we have in here, man.
Are you sure about that?
No, I am not. About that. Actually, we would lose so much credibility. Gents, how we doing tonight, man? How we doing? Everybody staying warm, staying healthy. We're good, right? You up on your vax? Everybody up on their vax? We're good there, right?
Yep. Doing good. It's
hit my head on one
up here, man. It's like 16 degrees right now. Got a little bit of snow. Feeling good, you know.
Tim out there in a t-shirt checking his mail. What I'm talking about.
Only hit one nail in the head when I was crawling in the attic, so we're good, you know.
Oh, that ain't bad at all, man. Jacob said he's stuck at work, so he's on the pole over there. Probably not going to make it tonight.
Heard that before.
That's terrible.
Emilio, just so you guys know, in the text thread, Emilio said, "Yeah, I knew you were mid. I'm just happy you accepted your level." That's his response. All right, anyway, let's get into it, boys. We made a new addition to the draft board, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, I think last couple of days. And Emilio, why don't you explain to everybody what we added here with Dane Brugler and what we decided to kind of adjust here, man, if you don't care.
Right. So if you're seeing where we have the Senior Bowl, that empty space there in the center column, to the right we got DJ's big board, which we've had, 33rd big boards, which we've had. Clayton added all of Dane's big board today in that third column on the right there. So our final average, which is the second to last column on the right, that's what we've had before with all the previous numbers, DJ and 33rd team. And now the average to the right of that is our new final with Dane, and that's all three of them averaged in. So we wanted to leave up both columns for a couple of days just to see where we might be at. Some of these players jumping, moving spots. I think we're going to be surprised on a couple of them. We already took a peek at one, but we'll kind of go into that a little bit. And I think that it'll be cool kind of just see who's either going to level out, climb up, or really, is going to drop their standing.
Absolutely. And you guys know I'm of the opinion I want the information to be on the board that came in the soonest, okay? I don't want to go back and change it. Okay, now they feel like this about that prospect. I don't want to play that game because people are swayed by opinion and momentum of prospects rising on the board. Again, we can click on anybody's draft board and get their updated number. I want to know how they felt the earliest as opposed to waiting until the media gets a little more involved. This university's creating buzz around that player. There's a lot of politicking that goes on behind the scenes. So the reason I mention that is sooner or later, eventually Daniel Jeremiah will release his entire board, like his top 150. When we go to add those numbers, if these numbers change on the players that are already on our board, we are not going to change them. We're just going to add in the new numbers, the new grades of the players that we need, and we're going to move it along. Same thing with Dane Brugler. Same thing with the 33rd team and Kyle Krabs. So that's how we're going to approach that. Now, what I love about this too, if you really know where to look here, and Emilio, this is what's beautiful about it. Tim, check this out. So Dane Brugler's column's right here, right? Okay. If you'll notice, we've got it sorted by our overall grade right now. Okay. So this is everybody's in the order in which we have value placed on each prospect. But if you go to Dane's number here, his column, and look at the numbers, the double digits that are in our, 6th spot there, 15.
Right. And right now it's still average, or it's still sorted by our previous final average. So it's not sorted by Dane's final average yet. We're still on yesterday's or this morning's final average right now.
Okay, gotcha. So the formula hasn't been added in yet, right?
No, it's in there. You can sort by Dane's on the right column. I'm just saying right now we're still on how it was last night. You know what I mean? That's how the average is set. You go ahead and sort that now.
Right. That's what I wanted to see right there.
It is.
So what I wanted to look at is, like, who does Dane have in the double digits that's still pretty high on our board, right?
I got you.
And that'll kind of differ. Like, and vice versa, too. Like, if you go down to the 18 spot, you got Shamar Stewart, edge defender from Texas A&M, right? Dane Brugler has him at number 9, and we have him in the 18 spot. You see what I'm saying? I think that's really interesting to see who kind of pops. And when you get into some of the upper numbers, like here, Jahdae Barron, right? Jahdae Barron, Dane Brugler has in the 40 spot, and we have him at 22. So it really does pop and shows you the contrast, the difference between everybody's board. And you can kind of see, too, side by side here with Daniel Jeremiah and the 33rd team. Like, for instance, Siobhan Ravel here, right? Daniel Jeremiah is the only one that doesn't have him in the top 50 of our three kind of scouts, right? Our three go-to sources.
And go ahead and put him in there at 52 real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, you go ahead and put 52. And no, he hasn't dropped it. I'm just saying, just to give you an idea. Yeah. No, just to like give you a theoretical there of what Siobhan could do, just because he's not going to have that. So you check his numbers. He went from 17 on our old final average to 29, and then dropped with Dane's up to 29. So that's it's gonna show up, definitely.
Absolutely, definitely. So just kind of keeping you guys in the loop, and we're going to go ahead and get a version of this if we can, Emilio, when we get a chance. Let's get a version of this to give to the Patreon group. That way they can stay up to date as well. So appreciate everybody over there. Anything else, Tim? You got anything to add to this as far as the board goes? Any questions, comments, concerns? Hey, you knucklehead, you're screwing this up, that type of stuff.
No, not at all. If anything, I think it's awesome how it's really coming together. Like, it's evolved even in just the last month, Like, Emilio, you've been putting in a lot of work. Clay, you too, I'm chipping in where I can, but like, this is crazy because we're able to cross-reference multiple data points, and it's constantly being updated. And you're going to see a trend where we may not hit on some of our picks, but I guarantee you we're going to be within the margin of error, as they would say. We're really narrowing things down, and it gives you the ability to really look at things a little more objectively and really figure out, when you look at the positions of need that we've identified versus best available, and then weighing that against the mocks and then our trusted advisors and scouts. I mean, to be this far away, from the draft, it's awesome to have this much clarity, I think, going into it. I don't think any of us are going to be like wildly shocked on draft day. We may be surprised here and there, but I think based on what we've been putting together, like we kind of have a good barometer of, how things are going to fall for us. So it's just awesome.
I agree. Along with the mocks that we're doing too, right? I mean, like it's all practice. It's all okay. We're doing a mock draft, and it's fun to kind of put yourself in the GM shoes. But what you're doing is you're collecting information. And if we have time tonight, we're going to do a trade up draft tonight. Okay, where we can trade up and try to get one of those top tier guys, kind of sell the farm to get an elite prospect. So
I love it. And then just as we're pulling it up in the next couple of days or whatever, look at that final average column where Clayton's got it lit up. Anybody that's got a higher number there, than Dane has him, obviously was helped out. If he's got a lower number, then Dane's is going to, affect him. And I just think it's going to be cool just to see where they're all going to kind of finally land.
Yep. No doubt, man. All right. So there's just, like I said, a little updated look at the draft board, and we'll keep you guys and gals in the loop. And like I said, if you're in the Patreon group, we'll make sure we get you a version of that, a copy of that you guys can kind of check out as well. Let's go to Twitter real quick, man. I put this tweet out earlier today, and boy, oh boy, did it get some traction, man. It was fun, some of the conversation. Every time I do this, I know Tim's thinking, oh, God, Clayton, don't do it. Don't do it. So here we go. Which edge defender would you rather have and why was the question. Player number 1, 605 snaps, 13.4 quarterback pressure percentage, run stop rate of 18%, cap hit $11 million. Or would you rather have player 2, 725 snaps, quarterback pressure 12.3%, run stop rate 14%, cap hit $30 million. All right. And I had to add this in because I knew people go, what's the sacks? What's the sacks? Both guys had 7.5 sacks. Now I will say this. One of the player 1 had the same number of sacks on 120 less snaps. Which player would you guys choose there, fellas? If I had to ask you.
Oh, I think you know who I would choose. Number 1. If you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. Well, heck, you can be second. You can be third.
Hell, you can even be fourth. I love that movie. I was probably high when I told you.
That's a great movie.
It is. Amelia, what do you think here, man? This is it's pretty easy, right?
That's a yellow tag item right there. Player 1 has just got the yellow sticker on it. Take me. I mean, that's it. I'll run that up to self-checkout and I'm out the door.
Yeah. Here are the 2 players, gang. Player number 1 is Rashawn Gary. Player number 2, Max Crosby. Wild to think about. Wow. And I did not expect this. When I went through the numbers, I'm thinking, I think it's going to be closer than people think, but Max will probably have the edge. Now again, I went, holy cow, that is wild. That's a wild statistic. Now, was it Max's best year? Absolutely not. Was it Gary's best year? Absolutely not. But if you're going off of recent body of work, right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Jason Y with a huge super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. He said, Daddy, soda's on me, boys. You're the man. We really appreciate you, buddy.
I got one.
So
Thanks, Jason. That's awesome.
Absolutely appreciate it, man.
So again, I do that to kind of remove the name, remove the shock factor. Which player would you like to have? And of course, people hop in the comments and they ask questions, and it gets pretty intense in there from time to time. This one here, I end up having to block him. He was just obnoxious. But here's what he said. Number 1 is Gary. Number 2 is Max Crosby. But I think it would be nice to include some additional information. Max Crosby played 12 games against Gary's 17. Right? He suffered more percentage of double teams than Gary, and yet was more effective in doing so than Rashawn. That said, Max is much better. Now, notice he didn't mention the chips. He just mentions the true double teams, right? Conveniently leave that off. And also, note how he said 12 games to Gary's 17. What would that make you think? Well,
Yeah,
Gary,
can you go back to your original post, because it triggered something in my mind. So Rashawn played 120 less snaps.
Bingo.
And is putting up a higher QB pressure rate and a better run stop rate. So, I mean, that's all you need to know, right? I mean,
and this is what cracks me up, Tim. He put that out there thinking nobody was going to check that. Oh, well, it's only because Gary played more games. And it's like, bub, you didn't take time to even look at the snaps, did you? Gary was healthy all 17 games. It's just that heavy rotation that Green Bay used, right?
But even still, I mean, even the fact Max wasn't healthy for those games, even, whatever it is, if it's an injury concern or not, I have no idea. But 1, he didn't get that. And 2, he said, he plays all the time. He's on the field, 98% of the time or something crazy like that. Even with our hockey lines, Gary was 100 snaps behind him. Either way, even if he was injured or not, I mean, he's tracking them. You know what I mean? There's not like that big of a difference between them.
And that's the thing. Like, this doesn't mean you don't want Max Crosby.
Right.
It doesn't mean that at all. All it's simply saying is we raked Rashawn Gary over the damn coals all year long, and he outperformed Max Crosby, which is wild. And again, you got to be careful with PFF numbers too, because again, they don't back it up with here's the play, here's the tape, here's the timestamp, here's the down and distance, time left on the clock to show you where the pressures came from. That's why I lean on NFL Pro over top of PFF, because you can actually go straight to the tape and watch the pressures. You can watch every aspect of what they're mentioning there. So just something to keep in mind there. But wanted to point that out. I thought that was an interesting conversation. Again, it does not mean we don't want Max Crosby. I think for the right price, I'm all about it. Now, here's the problem. Max Crosby cap hit this year, $27 million, I believe. Now, what will carry over, I want to say it's around $22 to $23 million unless they restructure the contract. But he's already talking. Well, it depends on the contract. He wants a new contract. He wants more guaranteed money, I guarantee it. So with that being said, are you willing to give up draft capital and give him an extension that's going to take him beyond the age of 30? And, oh, by the way, he's coming off an injury. To me, there's a lot of ifs there. It's not just a slam dunk. For the right price and less draft capital, absolutely, I'd love to have Max Crosby. And maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll work, right? Maybe he'll take a team-friendly deal to come to Green Bay, right?
Maybe.
Look at Tim. Tim's like, he ain't taking
maybe.
Come on, bro. He gonna leave Vegas for that? But I hated the fact that how dishonest O'Du was about like trying to make it sound like, well, Gary played more game. You know what I mean?
It's like no.
And that's what you run into all year long with this type of stuff. People get so dug in on their opinion, they're not willing to accept, hey, well, maybe I was just off on that a little bit, right? And again, no one here is saying Gary was absolutely awesome, right? I think Gary was a good player this year. That's what I think. And it's obvious that they were keying in on the run a lot. Badger Trio with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, are you guys willing to give up Alexander in a trade? You talking about Jair Alexander, I'm sure. Yeah. I am, yeah. It depends on the offer and depends on if Jair wants to be a Packer. Here's the problem with it. It's like, if he's going to be healthy, I want Jair back. But I think we're kidding ourselves to think he's going to be healthy. You know what I mean? Or at least guarantee he's going to be healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm at the point where it comes down, Badger Trio, for me to answer that question. What are we talking about in the trade? You know, third round pick, that would be really tempting for me. Really tempting. But what do you guys think about that question? Are you willing to give up Ja in a trade?
I think if the scenario is correct and it benefits us, maybe. But that being said, I don't know how much, and I'm a Jair fan. That's my dude. But I just don't know how enticing he is in the trade market. I don't know how much, value he's going to bring us in trade. I think you're right. It'd be hard to not seriously think about a third round pick for him. So I'm with you, though. I'm in the camp of if he's healthy coming into this year, I'd like to see him, play another year or two with us on a restructured deal and see where we can go. But, to answer Badger Trio's question, I would be willing to, see what's going on here. I'd be willing to potentially give up Ja in a trade, but I just don't know what the market's going to be like for him right now as far as the value.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm with both y'all. To Badger Trio, he was saying toss it into a Max Crosby trade or an Adams trade. If it works out for Max, and we don't have to give up too much and you trade player for player and kind of work out the numbers and stuff, yeah, sure, I would be for it. But then my next thing is, all right, who are we going to get to replace him and play on the outside? Is it going to be C-Val and Key? All right, but then we're still going to need to, bolster behind that. So it's always got to be the price is right. And I like a screaming deal, so it's really got to benefit me for me to give up a player that has fought for Green Bay, played for Green Bay. I know he's been hurt, but it's not like he wouldn't want to bring the Lombardi back home.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely us. Right. And again, thank you for the super chat there, Badger Trio. Appreciate you. Ron Sanville says 6 for Ja. If you're lucky, I say keep him if possible. Again, if it's, hey, you run it back with Ja on a restructured deal. And again, people, when they hear that, they think that means pay cut. They don't see it as a pay cut when you're giving them more guaranteed money, but less overall contract, right? So that's common practice. And the number that I put on Ja in that regard, probably if they do a restructure, you're going to see them free up somewhere between $5 to $8 million against the cap this year because you're going to pay cash over cap. So you're going to lower the overall cap number, give a little bit more guaranteed money to do so. So it's on the books, it would look like a pay cut, but from a player standpoint, they're getting more guaranteed money.
I know we've looked at it, but if we didn't touch it at all and we just said, Josh, show up to training camp, are we in better shape next year money-wise than we would be if we restructured them this year?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because you're still lowering the cap number if you go cash over cap.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Let me see if I can pull it up and explain.
That was my only other question because at this point, I'm almost to the point of just backing hands off and just say, Josh, show up to training camp and let's go to work. And let's not even worry about the restructure. If we're going to save, more money in the long run by not messing with it now, I would just say move forward with it. But yeah, if that's the case, then definitely I would be, open to the restructure. Let's figure out some numbers. And that's another time to bring them in, have a meeting, say, hey, sit down with Matt Goody, Russ, whoever needs to be there about the money, but also, where we want you to be. Maybe we want you to be that captain leader, that C. We want you to be that driving force. But if you can't have the C on your chest, I still want you to show up and play that, kind of style ball. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So Jair Alexander's cap hit this year is $25.4 million. His dead cap attached is $19 million this year. So if you cut him outright, you're going to free up about $5 million, $5 to $6 million.
Gotcha.
All right? So if you click on his contract structure, and I'll have to zoom out a little bit and I'll try to keep you guys in the loop. Next year, his cap hit raises basically $2.4 million more dollars, so 27.8, but the dead cap attached is 10.7. All we're talking about doing here, Emilio, is, and here's the thing, you can free up way more money than that if you want to, because there's already the skeleton of a voidable year there on the backside. Right. But you're talking about taking that $16.1 million and converting some of that to signing bonus. So when you do that, let's say you tell Ja, hey, look, how about we shave $8 million off that base salary and we write you a $5 million check, right? If we do that, you're freeing up $3 million in cap. So his cap number goes down $3 million and he gets more guaranteed money, but less overall salary.
Gotcha. He'd be signing, if you gave him that 5, he'd be signing an 11 check. He'd be getting 11 million right in his bank, right?
Right. But in the past, when we would do this, it was because we were trying to free up cap space right now. And that's when you could go, if you want to be really aggressive with Jair's restructure, you could say, all right, here's what we're going to do, Ja. We want to give you, we're going to cut that base salary down to $6 million. So we're going to shave $10 million off of that. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to shave $10 million off. We're going to convert, let's say, 6 of it to signing bonus. All right. So with that 6 of it signing bonus, and then take the $6 million and spread it out over 26 and 27. So we'll put $3 million against the cap in 26,
Gotcha.
$3 million against the cap in 27, and you're freeing up that money now. But here's the trick: whenever you decide to move on, if you decide to move on from him next year, that money that you've attached to this already voidable year here, which the cap hits 2.3, and in that case it would be 5.3 at that point. That 5.3 would accelerate to the current year cap.
He has to get paid.
You have to clean that off the books in year one that they are no longer on the roster. Is essentially what it means. So
gotcha.
That's what we're talking about with cash over cap, though. Essentially, and again, you can do a little bit more to that. I like to keep it simple and just focus on base salary and roster bonus. Roster bonuses, they're due that if they make the roster, so it's not technically guaranteed money. When teams do that, it looks like it's guaranteed for them. That's why when you get into this conversation about practical guarantee.
And you know what, I was looking on the right there, you going through some of his transaction, got fined in October for an excessive face mask against Arizona, $11,000, suspended for the game, conduct detrimental to the team, $60,000. February 25th of 23, converted $370,000 to 2023 salary plus 11.45 roster bonus into signing. So they're not afraid to do that, right? February 25th is coming around the corner. That's something that I think we got to kind of keep our eyes on, moving forward here. I could see it happening, now that looking at it like this, if we're still going to, it's still going to benefit us to restructure it. I could see the restructure happen. Ja, let's get you in here. Let's, maybe give them a little bit more incentive for the off season. We want you to lead that secondary crew. We've missed you out there, all that stuff. You and X out there, we want you to tear it up and, give them an extra bonus for showing up and call it a day.
So, yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 right here on this. Now, if you're telling me, again, you can get me a 3rd-round pick and you clean $6 million off the books and we don't have to worry about is he going to stay healthy next year, I don't think that's a bad idea. I really don't. But if it's a 6th-round pick like Ron was saying, I'm with Ron. Why don't we just try to work this out, give him a little bit of guarantee, and move forward in that regard. So there you go. There's your Ja talk of the day. Didn't have that on the books, but I'm glad we hit on it anyway. So
things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
So true.
Let's go back to Twitter real quick. Something else that came down the pike. I thought this was interesting since we're entering combine season, right? Mike Garafolo had tweeted out, for the 2nd straight year, the agents at Athletes First, which is obviously a sports agency, notified all 32 NFL teams today their draft-eligible clients will respectfully pass on any cognitive or psychological assessments, sources say. The agency led the charge on players refraining from such tests in 2024. You guys remember what happened, right, with C.J. Stroud. That's right. What sparked this. Was C.J. Stroud, I'm pretty sure that's when it kind of hit the boiling point. I can't remember the name of the test. It was one of the cognitive tests. It wasn't the what was the name of the one that's real popular? What am I thinking of here?
The Wonderlic.
Wonderlic.
It's not the Wonderlic, but the other one. I can never think of it.
Never
but
mind.
Anyway, yeah, and they were talking about, they actually had a guy come in and try to do damage control on the Pat McAfee show that works for that company that did that test. And he's like, yeah, listen, there's a lot of things that go into it. S2, there you go. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Who was that? Blake B. Thank you so much, buddy. The ASVAB. That's what I almost said over this. I swear I almost said the ASVAB. Some of you guys know what that means. It's not nothing like overly confrontational or anything. Or yeah. What? Do you know what the ASVAB is, Emilio?
Negative.
All right. So it's kind of in my day, maybe they use it for multiple things. Now it was for if you were going to join the military. It was like military testing. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And it's just kind of a general, how stupid is this guy and can he hold a rifle? You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down. We used to joke and call it the ASVAB test, but that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I think this is a good move by agents because that was ugly with C.J. Stroud. And that guy going on the McAfee show right after that and kind of, man, this was, you could tell it was just damage control central. That league was mad at him that the score potentially leaked out. And it's hilarious that C.J. Stroud, that was could potentially hurt his draft stock, and then lo and behold,
Right.
he ends up being the best rookie that year, right? So, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I think it's got to be, it's got to be a unity thing on it, right? You can't just say it. I mean, if you're going to cover all your athletes and all that, you got to say it to every team. I'm not doing it no matter what. Put it out there early, get ahead of it, because by the time we go to Indianapolis, I don't want to be worrying about, them trying to drag them in there. You got to do your concussion testing, all that stuff, but we're not doing anything beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, they're athletes, right? I mean, cognitive, if you can read a playbook and throw a football or run up with a football, I mean,
Right.
what else do you have to prove? And then, like psychologically, hey, I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm not a psychologist, but I think, that's going to come with the territory as you're going through your annual physicals once you're a pro anyway, right? And if there's anything to cause concern, I think that would show up. So I respect the fact that they're passing on this and, would rather not take part in it.
Yeah, 2-0 for this says the Wonder Liquor. That's I think that's Jacob's second stage name over at the office.
I think that's one of his favorite moves, actually.
Tim wins the night. Put it on the ticker. He wins the most toxic member award. United Bates says, I took my ass fab with a crayon. Obviously, that's the Marines speaking there, so I love it.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Oh, goodness. All right, let's keep this train moving here, man. We're off the rails bad. I thought this was really cool. I got to pause this video. I'll try to pause it just right because I don't want us to get in trouble. But obviously, we just sent a picture that was donated by Trevor, one of our loyal listeners, viewers that donated to the show, of this actual play. I apologize for the dog barking. He is obviously upset. That's Biggie down there, Biggie Smalls, as we call him, my brother's dog. He thinks he's tough until Etta shows him teeth, and then he goes to sit on the couch.
Man.
So this was awesome, man. Look at the Green Bay Packers social media team showing up. I hashtag just a tip for a reason here, and I got to be careful. Again, we're going to pause that so we don't get in trouble. But look at our boy here grinning like a possum in a dumpster, and it says just the. How about that, boys? Don't say it, KB. Just the. I'm so proud of the Packers social media team, man. You know
They've
what I'm saying?
stepped it up tenfold from the year prior. I mean, absolutely. That's great. And that's what keeps you engaged in the offseason. Football's over, Super Bowl's over. We got the combine coming up, but let's go back to when we had fun in the season, right? Those moments we were screaming about having a great time on the post game, all that stuff.
Yeah. You can tell that's what they're doing, with the social media team, right? They're going through all the moments and memories of the year. And we get gems like this, at 2:40 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. You got to love it.
Doesn't get any better than that, man. I'll tell you this too. One thing we're going to do this off season, once everything kind of dries up and it's like the draft and free agency's over, we're going to have a specific schedule set for the show where we can go back and relive last year and do Chalk Talk episodes of each week and relive each week. And just a quick reminder, a refresher. Me and Jacob done this 2 years ago when I first started the pod. And it was a lot of fun. We didn't do Chalk Talk, but we just went back and recap what actually happened week 1, what happened week 2, what happened. So we're watching football in the off season, even though there's not any football going on other than the UFL, obviously. So, which I'm kind of excited about. I don't know about you guys. I like the UFL. So I think Alex Magoo's probably going to go back again too. That's going to be fun to watch. So it's your former UFL.
You a receiver or a quarterback?
Quarterback again, baby. He won MVP, Tim. Are you kidding me? You know the level of talent over there?
Oh, no, I know. I was just joking because we had
I was just joking with you.
That was
like, is the talent actually that good? I don't know, right? It's football in the spring when you're grilling. It doesn't get any better than that. So,
yep.
All right, moving along here. Next thing. This was interesting, man. I've seen a conversation take place between Ryan Wood, who's a great follow on Twitter, by the way, on X, at by Ryan Wood. And he and this guy, Kyle Blosser, went back and forth on Josh Myers. And he kind of got a little snippy with Kyle. And I'm sure Kyle was, being a bit rude here, too. I'm not here to referee this argument. I just want to put my 2 cents in, even though nobody asked. That's what you do on X, right? I'm trying to get caught up with the times here. But Kyle Blosser said 49th ranked center in the league last year per PFF, only 32 starting centers in the league. Which part of this baffles you? And Ryan Wood said the film. And I've watched the film on Josh Myers, and I got to be honest with you, I don't think it's pretty. I don't. I don't watch the film and go, wow, that grade doesn't match up. There's been a couple times over the last year, I remember us after the game on Monday waiting for the PFF grades and going, I'm expecting Myers to have a better grade this time, right? There's been a couple games like that, but overall, pretty bad. But I kind of did a little bit of research here on my own. I said the film backs up these grades. That and the fact that Josh Myers allowed the third most pressures of all centers in the league at 31 pressures and 21 hurries. His whole name to fame or whatever is pass blocking. His pass blocking grade's always strongest, right? But man, when I seen those numbers, I thought, wow, that's pretty bad. 32 pressures, right? I'm sorry, not 32 pressures. He was what was it again? The 31 pressures. And I want to say it put him like in the 40s or something amongst centers at that number. So, and the 21 hurries obviously as well. So his pass blocking grade amongst centers put him 37th in the league, and his overall grade was 49th. His run blocking grade was 54th. I definitely agree with that the run blocking looked abysmal. And one of the things that Ryan Wood pointed out was like, I thought he looked good getting to the next level. I think he looks good getting to the next level. When he arrives at the next level, he looks like me trying to be athletic. Like it's bad. There's a lot of whiffing. I want to get your all's take on it because now we're to the point where, listen, there's a legit shot they could re-sign Josh Myers. They may love Josh Myers, right? Obviously, we put that tag of about $5 million on him, and the conversation here kind of steered in that direction too. I think Ryan Wood actually said $5 million. For $4 to $5 million, I'd have him back, right? So what's your all's take on this? Anything you want to add to this?
Man, y'all leave Josh alone, man. Leave him alone, man. Quit being so hard on him.
Yeah, I know one person that could play center.
Who's that?
He's got the number 79 on the jersey, but
he's got a J and an M as his initials also, right?
His name's Travis Glover. Anyway, the pass blocking, right, we expect that out of him, honestly, a little bit higher. If he had a 70, 75, we wouldn't be worried about it just because nobody grades out well on the run blocking, right? He does get to the next level well, correct, but his when he engages, he gets turned. He loses his balance. He doesn't arrive there, super under control. For $4 million, I might bring him back just because we've already fought through all the snap the ball, Josh, and figure out cover, figure out all the calls. Getting smooth with the line, all those things. Unless we're ready to move Tom in or Elton in or whoever it's going to be, and you bolster it around it, I'd rather have a 6'3" dude at the center of the wall. I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think you can do better.
For sure. I
think it's an important position.
Though, right now, Clayton. I mean, if we can get a deal, but then he's got to learn the offense, learn all the calls. You got to snap it to Jordan's hands between your legs 60 times a game. I mean, you got to get – we don't want to have – how many times are they going to freak out if we have a fumble, we bring in a new center, and there's one bad snap? We're never going to hear – we still don't hear the end of Elton when he snapped the ball 3 times in the rain. You know what I mean? So
right. Tim seen that firsthand, didn't you, Tim?
Yeah, for sure.
Tim's like, why did you even bring that up?
Yeah, unfortunately, I paid.
I don't want to remember it.
Andy Watkins in the chat said, "Is Monk worse than Josh Myers?" Listen, I think this is a good question. They were not going to allow anybody to compete with Josh Myers, and that's the part that really bothers me.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
You never heard in camp like, "Oh yeah, Josh Myers might not." It was even when it was mentioned, the media members. I remember Wildy and a couple other people just kind of laughing it off, like, "There ain't a competition there. Like this is Josh Myers' job." So to say,
why do you think that is, though?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's just like with Savage. Like Savage,
that's true.
You guys heard me. I was screaming Rudy freaking Ford. Like Rudy Ford is a better post safety than Savage. I said it over and over and over. And guys, listen, I am an idiot. Like I don't know near as much as these guys in that front office. The guy in Goody's front office that knows the least knows tenfold what I know. But when you look at the tape and you look at the analytics and you look at the way they tackle and you look at how they arrive at confrontation, it wasn't even close between Rudy Ford and Darnell Savage. And then lo and behold, we get Jonathan Owens. And what did we say, Tim, when we signed Jonathan Owens? We looked at the PFF grade and we're like, I guess he can
Lord.
tackle. I guess he could tackle. Goody's got a type. Guys, Darnell Savage was the next to last safety, highest graded safety in the entire league. The last ranked safety in the league the year before was Jonathan Owens, and we went and signed him.
Yep.
It was like, Goody's got a type. So to bring it back to Myers, I don't know, Amelia. I don't understand it, man. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just like we get locked in on these guys, and it's just that's the starter. That's the starter.
And I think it's something something you're used to, something you trust. He's gone through, a soon to be Hall of Famer, whenever that is, and he's now, with your starting quarterback that you put all your eggs into. So it's not you don't want to put him out there. You probably don't want to put him out there with a rookie and say, hey, I need you to learn the snap count. I need you to learn we couldn't even figure out silent count during the year. You know what I mean? Like we had our tackles looking inside from 5 yards away, trying to see, and then you got an edge rush coming off the wide 9 and them just getting roasted on the outside shoulder. Like we still had problems on the line. If it was going to be a rookie that made those mistakes, whatever, but we need to figure out snapping. We need to figure out how to do a silent count. All those things need to get done this offseason, I think.
Yeah. Blake B said Rudy Ford fell off the face of the earth after we let him go. He did. I don't even think he made camp. Right on the next team. What does that tell you about Darnell Savage? Like that Rudy Ford looked better than him every snap he got. And we hit Darnell Savage with a 5th-year option. And that's why I'm holding out Chris M for that double dozen of donuts. And I'm going to spread it around with the boys here. Because if you're willing to give Darnell Savage a 5th-year option, I have a hard time believing they're not going to tack that onto
one of them. All we need is one of them.
Right. So, because I do feel like Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt are much better players than Darnell Savage.
Well, would you pay Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker, or Josh Myers if you had to pick 2 out of the 3?
So you got to pick 2 of those 3? Is that what you just asked?
Right.
Quay and Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, Quay and Devontae Wyatt's who I would pick.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
And I think that's where we're kind of at. But the problem is you trust what Josh has done with your previous 2 quarterback, your previous quarterback and your now quarterback, learning the offense, knowing the snap count, but we didn't have enough production out of it. So I do think that's something we need to look at, figure it out.
All right. Chris N says Goot can't admit his mistakes. All it is. Listen, I understand that stance. I do. I get it. And it does appear that way sometimes. But also, you've got to give these guys time too, right? And that's why I'm okay with giving guys time. But competition is only going to increase how they perform if they're the right guy. Let me put it this way. If we had drafted Creed Humphrey and Creed Humphrey had struggled, right? And we said, okay, you know what? We're going to have Sean Ryan compete with him at center and truly compete. Do you think Creed Humphrey would have been, oh, man, I'm having to compete and back off? Hell no. He's going to hit a different level. And I think Josh Myers is probably cut from a similar cloth. If he's got it in him, that's only going to raise him up. So I think the main mistake made there, it's not to pile on Josh Myers. It's just what is so wrong with competition? I just don't get it. So I don't know, but yeah, there may be a little bit of that, Chris. But also, you don't want to give up on the players too soon. I understand that. If I'm playing devil's advocate to your comment there too, but I'm with you, man. It does kind of feel like it's just one of those. No, not going to give up. I know what I got. Right, like when Emilio's trying to sell his used lawnmower on Facebook Marketplace. $1,300. I know what I got.
I know what I got.
I'm gonna give him some.
What do you got over there tonight, Emilio? You got a tool highlight for it?
I guess just right the installation driver right next to the desk. You never know when you got to put a screw in the wall.
You keep that thing on you.
Yeah, it's always got a battery in it. You never know. Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, let's move it along here. See, I think I had something else on Twitter. Nope, we're good on Twitter. So let's go to the Patreon group real quick. If you guys want to join our Patreon group, just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. If you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you will get access to our chat where you can be a part of the show, get your questions read on the air, all that good stuff.
Or the QR code in the corner or down in the description below. While you're down there, hit that sub.
Appreciate that, Amelia. Look at you salesman.
We're trying to get to 4K.
We're closing in on 4K. So if you're watching this and you think these guys don't seem so bad, I'll probably never watch the show again. Hit sub for us and we'll see you on the other side. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
So Hopefully you get what you're looking for in life. Josh Martin says, I know the Jets are looking to trade Tay. I don't think he will be after he gets released. I think if he does not sign with 4 days, he won't be signing with us. He wouldn't have to wait until the new league year. Is that a fair assessment, or would the 4 days be too soon? Trying to think of what he's saying here. What's he saying here, Emilio? He said, I don't know.
Okay, so do we have is there let's hold on, we got our dates here. Target date restructure. I was trying to think if the release date is if you have to be released before free agency starts, do we figure out something before?
They'll probably hold him to as long as they possibly can to see if they get trade offers, I would imagine. Right. If that's the question you're asking there, Josh. I think that's how they'll approach that. I don't think they'll just cut him out right now and just say, hey, go sign with who you want. They may. It's the Jets. That would be a stupid thing to do, right? And that was kind of like the Browns. That's kind of their MO, right? But, yeah, for me, if I put myself in the Jets' shoes, I'm holding on to him until the very last second. Yeah. Think about like how we did with Zadarius Smith, right? We waited right up till free agency, then cut him with a June 1st declaration arm or whatever. But it's different for them because there's not much cap penalty at all. If they cut Tay, they're freeing up a ton of salary, and they're just, I think it's like $28 million or something. I've heard 28, I've heard 30, I heard 32. It's somewhere probably between 27 and $30 million, something like that. So I would not trade for him. I know that. I would, if he hits free agency and you can get him on a good deal, a good team-friendly deal, that's how I bring him back to Green Bay. I'm not willing to give up draft capital and overpay him. You know what I'm saying? And You guys got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I co-sign that 100%. That's what I have to add.
If it's a 7th rounder, like we got Malik and Tay does the work and brings that wide receiver room together, all right, maybe. If the Jets hold some of that money over and it benefits us, I'll give him a 7th. But no, besides that, let me just pay the dude and get over here for a year or two and get out.
Here's Josh. Josh said if he doesn't sign with us within the 4 days of being released, would it be safe to say he wouldn't be signing with us? Got it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to get. Okay, got it. Yeah, I don't know, man. He may sit on the market for a minute and see if a West Coast team offers him money, right, guys? You think?
Does he have to? He doesn't have to accept the offer right away, right? I mean, if he sits there for a couple days, he might. Yeah, you're right. He might field a couple options and say, the problem is how many West Coast teams are really good,
right? I mean, you got the Rams, the Chargers, and who's the other one?
San Fran, right?
Yeah, San Fran. I mean, I would say they're all three good. I expect the 49ers to bounce back, especially with Salah back out there. I hate to say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a playoff team again next year. Yeah. Especially if McCaffrey is completely healthy. With the Chargers, I think they're a good football team. I imagine they're wanting to build that roster and that game plan around what Jim Harbaugh likes to do, which is run the rock like he did at Michigan. But you get Tay on the outside with some play action. That makes a lot of sense. If you approach it from San Francisco standpoint, they're shopping Debo, right? Yep. If they trade Debo for a pick and then bring in Tay's familiar with the terminology pretty much because he's been in a McVay/Shanahan system for a while now. As Jake says here, Chargers make perfect sense. I'm with you, Jake. I think he does. That makes a lot of sense. Now, with that being said, we get the third best odds of the team that signs him. Right?
I was going to say, but if he comes back to Green Bay, how many records can he break as a wide receiver? I mean, what does he need for catches for Green Bay? Those might be – maybe he wants to hit some milestones. Maybe he wants to hit some of those things. If he goes down as a Packer, number one, catches or whatever or touchdowns, hey, how long is that going to stand for? You know what I mean? Right. If you don't make it to the Hall, how long would you be in the Packers legend?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. Good conversation.
Yep.
Again, here's the thing. If Green Bay goes to Tay and says, we'll give you $10 million fully guaranteed, play a year, right? They say that. Okay, there's my offer. What if the Chargers come to him and say, we'll give you 2 years, $22 million with $13 million guaranteed? He's going to the Chargers, right? Yeah. And I don't blame him one bit. I'd be out there watching people surf. I'm too scared to surf. I just watch them surf. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, anybody who's been to San Diego, which they're in L.A. now, I guess different. But back in the San Diego days, my brother was stationed there in the Army for a little bit. He said, perfect weather, most perfect place to live in the entire country. He was like, man, it's 77 degrees and a slight breeze off the ocean constantly. It's just beautiful. You ever been that far out west, Tim?
No, my dad goes out there quite often. Has a buddy that owns a cigar shop out in Old Town, San Diego there. So he likes to frequent that area. But I have not been out there. I've been to LA, but I've never been to San Diego, no.
Yeah. Need to check it out. Emilio ain't been there.
Nope.
Maybe when he first came over, I don't know. We'll see.
Farthest I've been is Texas.
Texas. I haven't been to Texas. I need to get to Texas. Anyway, there you go. There's your geographical conversation for the evening. All right. David James in the Patreon group. Bengals linebacker Jermaine Pratt. I'm sure you guys seen this. He requested a trade today, right? Don't know much about him. He's 28, maybe too much money. I went and done a little research here, boys. It is not good. For someone who's asking for a trade, here's his PFF grades, Emilio. I'm going to read his PFF grades throughout his whole career, and you tell me what you'd be willing to trade for him, all right? 51, 41, 47, 80, 63, 60.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, listen, man, we got a position open for custodian, if you want to come hang out in the facility,
Jaws 28 too. So
What's that?
I said Jaws 28 too. I don't know if I'm, I don't know, man. I would say no to that.
Yeah, it's just it was odd to see, and he's a captain, they said too. So
Really?
it was odd to see him like, I want to be traded. But Bengals like, you know what? We'll just cut your ass. How about that? Go sign where you want. I was expecting to see like something consistent. It's consistent. It's just consistently bad. With that being said, we'll just trade for him. That'll happen, right? So there you go with that question, David James. I am not a fan of that guy. Nebraska Rev. I have been doing a few mock drafts, and some of the I have picked at 23, and some I have traded back. But no matter what I do, I always find myself wishing for a pick right around 100. Anyone else felt the same thing, or is it just me being that greedy? We were trying to kind of trade up last night, wasn't we, Emilio? We kept trying to get back up or at least structure a trade where we could get another pick right around the 100 mark, wasn't we?
Yeah, I like a lot more picks. He's right. Kind of past 23, maybe from 30 to 150. If we could have 3 or 4, 4 in there, I would be super happy. The problem is trying to get to it. With still having the 6th, 7th, and I think that conditional 7th that we're going to get or something. So that's you got a lot of it on the back end that doesn't have a lot of value. So you got to kind of pool that together, get you up into the 4th or 5th round, and then take that and get you into the 3rd again. But I do think that it would be possible. That's why I'm kind of leaning to a less than double digit draft. I think it's going to be 7 or less. I really don't see him trying to, go out crazy. I know that we have some needs to fill, but I don't think that they're going to be pulling them all in from the draft.
Mm-hmm. Prince in the chat said Emilio was spinning picks like mad last night.
I was consolidating last night. That's what I was doing.
That's all it was, right? Clean that up real nice. Let's see here. Jake in the chat says, based on the amount of picks Green Bay has had the last few years, we've gotten used to the finer things in life. It stinks just having 7. It's wild too, Jake, because like we talked about it earlier, there's a few teams got like 3 or 4 picks. Could you imagine? And they're always kind of bad teams, it seems like. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Goody tries to get around that 10 range as well. We've got the roster spots for it, in my opinion. But this may be the year that we actually just try to take minimal picks, and minimal by that I mean 7 or less, right? And see how good we can do on the top side. So there you go. That's your Patreon questions of the evening. Tim, you got anything you want to add to that, man, before we move on there?
No, just kind of reiterating Emilio's point. Having not too many, less than 10 draft picks might help us getting our roster in order. I mean, ultimately you can't keep everyone, and ultimately everyone's not going to work out. So I think Goody will cook still with 7 in the draft for sure.
Yeah, got it. All right, everybody in the Patreon group, we appreciate y'all and your support. We'll keep checking it and keep you guys included in the show. Anything else you gents want to hit on? I'm going to ask the question. All right, For if people hate mock drafts, sign off right now. It's totally cool. We get it. We understand. Holmes, have long snappers been discussed?
Didn't
I already said we got to.
didn't we do that last night?
If you have any information on them, I have about 7 or 8 of them in the board. If we can get a couple more numbers, if anybody has,
And not a one inside the top 300.
Can anybody, if we can get a captainship on, can we get a C on any of their chests? Give them a bonus or something to get them into range.
Call up Zadarius. He's got captain's patches.
I think it's William from Michigan. That's our boy. He's the best. He's the highest graded one.
Jake knows where I was going with my next question. Do you boys want to do a mock draft? Because we need one where we're going to trade up. We're going to
Do I want to do a mock draft? You might as well split the episode and say thank you to episode 1, and we're off on episode 2.
You know what, Emilio? I'm not going to do that. Just because you said we're going to be rebels tonight. All right. Surprise! You were already in hour 2. All right. That's
For those of you
got
listening on the pod,
there you go. Nice.
Heard that in a minute there. I bet Jacob's exhausted over at the office tonight. All right, let's do it. Let's go. So with this mock draft, guys, we're going to do the trade up, right? Is that good with everybody?
Yeah, please.
Is this D tackle first or?
Yeah, if we can. I want to trade up and take our boy, Mr. Graham, but I just don't know how it's going to work out. We'll see. We need to get to. Guy around. We're looking at the board real quick, Clay. Mason Graham on our board is 4th. Okay, PFF had him 4th, consensus 5th, DJ 4th, 33rd 5th, Dane 4th. So we probably need to get to the Patriots or the Jaguars to make it happen.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it one pick at a time, and I need to be showing both, but I can't, unfortunately. On our board, the goal is to get one of these elite guys. Here's the 4 elite guys on our board. Travis Hunter, cornerback out of Colorado. He's the top prospect. Abdul Carter, edge defender out of Penn State. Ashton Gianti, running back out of Boise State. Or Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan. I think we all agree we don't want to go after Ashton Gianti, right?
Correct.
So that list is now down to 3. So it's Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Mason Graham.
Here's the guy.
What we've got to do on this mock draft is we have got to take it slow, pick by pick, pause it, and see, okay, when it gets down to the final of those 3, that's when we're looking to go up. Correct, Emilio? That's what we're thinking?
Yeah. As we watch him, if another guy goes off, I'd be cool with it. But no, we definitely need to try to get Mason. I think it's going to start happening after Patriots, before the Jets, I would think.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Tim, we're going to do the 3-tech draft. We'll do it tomorrow night. We'll definitely get it in. And we may take a 3-tech here, but this is going to be one that's separate. This is going to be labeled as the trade-up aggressive draft, okay?
My hope is to get Graham if we have enough capital, whatever we need to use to get the boy. That would be the idea.
get ready to go.
Right. It's set to slow, so let's hope we can pull this off here, all right? It's loading up. We're going to hit start the draft, and I'm going to pause it, okay? So we're going to pause. So the Titans are on the clock right now, okay? So let's see who they take. We're going to let them pick here, right? And you'll see it's going to fill up there. It's going really slow. Nope, there we go. All right.
Okay.
So they took quarterback Cam Ward. That looks nice for us, right?
Perfect.
Let's move on to the Browns pick. The Browns are taking Travis Hunter. All right. So one of our 3 is gone. The only one that's left is Abdul Carter and Mason Graham, correct?
Yep.
So that's where we're sitting right now. Let me zoom in my board real quick just to make sure I don't miss out on anything here. I'm having to overlay. Amelia, you can work the board for me too, though, can't you?
Yeah, I got it. Travis is gone. We got Abdul, and we're skipping Ashton Gianti. We got Mason Graham.
All right, cool. Here we go with the the Giants at number 3. And they are taking Shedeur Sanders, just setting up.
Wow, this is falling for us. I like how this is going right now. So either way, even if we were to go after New England right now, you'd still have a shot at Abdul or Mason Graham.
Yep.
That's
All
crazy.
right. Here we go. Next pick. Once one of those guys go, there it is, Abdul Carter. So Mason Graham is on the board. The Jaguars are on the clock at number 5, and we're going to try to trade up and get that number 5 pick. I about said that number 5th pick. Kentucky coming out of me here. Tim about caught it. All right. So to trade up for the 5th overall pick, we give up 23, right? Let's see if they'll take 55. They said no, sir. How about 87? No. 123? No. You see what I'm saying? How hard this is to trade up? You'd have to sell the farm this draft. Now, this is what we're talking about. To get up that high, multiple first-round picks. Now they're thinking about it. Look at Tim going, hell no, I would never do this.
What about Ja? What about Ja?
Ooh, I like it. I like it. All right, so let's go to the roster here.
I mean, I'm just seeing corner as a need, you know, for
Wow. Well, take the other first
round. Round 1, 26 off of there. There you go.
Give him round 2 of 26.
That's close.
Oh, now we're talking. Now we're in business. Give him third round of this year.
This year, third. So we're talking 87.
Yep. Oh, I'm
right there.
So a first, a third.
I think that'll get done right there.
And a second next year, and Jair
first,
to move up. It seems like a lot.
A first, a fifth, and then a second next year is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Let's take the second off.
How about we take Jair off and just do the picks?
Can't do it, Tim. This is what we're doing. Do you want to keep Ja, though? We could trade Ja.
I think we should keep Ja.
Yeah, keep Ja. What if we give him so we'd have to give up a first? What if we gave up our first and no, we don't want to give him 3 firsts. That's not worth it. How about
a first and a
third?
Thirds.
What about the third this year? Just because it's got more value, or no? And then a round 1 of next year.
That'd get it done. That's more than enough. What about this?
There you go.
Closer. And this is tough, boys. This is a tough decision here. We could go first and third.
What if we went first and third next year?
Well, look at that.
I mean, theoretically, we're only giving up 1 first-round pick, and that's next year because we're taking our first-round pick from this year and just moving it up a couple of spots.
Correct.
So we're giving up 1 first-round pick and like a third.
And a third.
Look at that, though. If we give up 2027's first-round pick.
Ooh.
Do it.
That's
That's not a horrible trade, if I'm being honest.
Look, I'm going to get greedy now. So here's the trade, guys, with Jacksonville. We're going to give them – we're going for the 5th overall pick, right? We're going to give them 23, 87, and not the 2026 first-round pick, but the 2027 first-round pick. And we're also going to get pick 124 this year back. Number one Packer fans, yeah, y'all cheap as hell. Jacob's here in spirit tonight. I think it is hilarious, though, boys, that we are actually looking to trade up with the good folks down there in Duval. That looks like just the dumbass to pull the trigger on this trade, does it not?
That's okay. Real quick before we what do you feel about that, Clay? You haven't said too much about how much you like that trade up. Where are we at?
Listen, I'm all about it.
Would you be? You're okay with giving up that 27 first?
Holmes, I smell another F. Am I okay with giving up the 23rd pick, the 87th pick, and the 2027 round 1 for the 5th round or for the 5th overall pick and 124, getting a top tier? Guys, understand, Abdul Carter, just strictly based off the grades, if he scores a 9+ RAS, which many people think he will, you're talking about the same grade on my board that Aiden Hutchinson had, that Myles Garrett had, players like that. And again, it's not a slam dunk. He could be a bust. Anybody could be a bust. But that's the type of player you're talking about. Amelia, to answer your question, I don't think there's a snowball chance in hell that Jacksonville will pull the trigger on this trade. I don't.
But
you're talking about climbing up over 15 spots to the number 5 overall pick. I personally think they would require this year's first and next year's first. But they're accepting it here. Why not do it? Go ahead. What's your thought there?
My thought is we're going to be in the Lombardi hunt the next 2-3 years. So those first round picks are going to be 25 or later, almost, guaranteed. We're 23rd now. We made the playoffs. So I think that we're going to be, if that's something, I'm kind of for it. Honestly, I'm not mad at that at all. If Jacksonville pulled the trigger on that, we are running that. I think we're running it up there.
And think about, why did we lose to the Eagles? You lost to the Eagles because you got kicked in the trenches, right? Okay, go sign Drew Dahlman in free agency as your center. You with me? Go sign. We still got Jair in this scenario. Jair's coming back at corner, right? You go get a dominant 3-tech in Mason Graham here from Michigan, hands down the best defensive lineman in the draft. You get him, and then you try to shore up. What's the next position you probably want to shore up? Because Jordan Morgan's now going to be healthy. You pick up Drew Dahlman in free agency, so you got a starter at center, right? And if your offensive line stays healthy, you got decent depth. So you're still looking to add 1 or 2 offensive linemen, no doubt about it. What are the other needs that we talked about? 3-techs off the board now, right? Wide receiver. So you'd be looking to get a wide receiver with the 55th pick.
Which we've done before.
And here's the other thing. If you want to get aggressive in free agency, and listen, I don't care what anybody says, we got the cap space. There's maneuverability with the restructure potential on this roster that you could even go get a Chris Godwin, like we talked about. You could get Chris Godwin and Drew Dahlman in free agency. You keep Ja, right? If Ja gets traded, you're getting an extra pick. In this scenario, we're not doing it. And then you could go sign one of those 3 corners we said we liked, and then you could pick up another corner in the draft. I like it. I'd be all about this. And here's the thing. Next year, Kenny's gone. Mason Graham steps right into that role,
so true.
Along with Devontae Wyatt if he continues to improve, right?
Could you imagine that front, Devontae Wyatt, Mason Graham just absolutely ripping it up? Kenny gets his bowl, whatever, walks off into the sunset, was a Packer his whole career.
Yep.
To that other
Rashawn Gary doing his thing on the other side. They're going to be steering attention away from Gary to that 3-tech if he's truly dominant. You're talking about a Jalen Carter type player. If Mason Graham ends up being the player that some are projecting him to be, he's going to be that good, right? On top of that, LVN takes his pressure percentage from 11 to 13. You're looking at Eagles 2.0 front.
You got LVN out there tearing it up. Year 3, now we're cooking. But to that, remember Clay when we did that the breakdown a couple days ago on when the last time we drafted somebody in the top 10 was what AJ Hawk and BJ Raji was our last 5th overall pick. That was the last 2 times we were inside the top 10. What did those 2 players bring us? Lombardi back home. I think that's something we need to look at. I think that's something we need to kind of chase. I love this. I would, run that card up, man. Mason Graham, you're putting on the G.
Yep. Jake Shavink says in the chat, Mason Graham passes Kenny as soon as he puts on the hat.
Yeah.
So true. And here's the thing. Now you make the decision. Do you want to go post June 1 and get rid of Kenny? Or would you rather restructure, free up about $5 million in cap with Kenny, keep him on, and now you're talking about a deep defensive line.
And got that leadership, got the mentality. Mason Graham can get his feet wet. You can have that athletic ability, but you got the knowledge and the experience of Kenny in there. I'd love that, man.
Yep. All right, let's do it. We're going to offer the trade. Let's see if they accept it. We may have to adjust it if they don't. Offering the trade. Oh, they said no. They playing hard to get, boys. Hard.
Duval.
Take 142, Clay.
4 more attempts left, so we're going to try to drop back to 142. Let's offer it again. They took it.
Yeah, buddy.
On the clock. So with the 5th overall pick, the Green Bay Packers are going to select Mason
McMillan. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Never mind.
Yeah. And we'll go let's go with Tim's boy. Where's Tim's boy at? Let's go ahead and take Jaden Higgins right here at the 5th.
No, dude, stop.
James Pierce Jr., welcome to the squad.
Hold on.
Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Here we go, man.
I've never even seen those names in a draft. You know what I mean?
Right. So now do we want to go turbo now so we can get through this, right?
Yeah. Unless we want to, pool up some of those older picks, but we're good. Let's keep moving.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and crank it back to turbo. It should go fast now. All right, now we're picking at 55. So we do not need a 3-tech.
I don't even need you to change it. Just get our boy out there.
We were just talking about this, right? Like it's going to come down to wide receiver and then offensive line depth. Because again, in this scenario, we're keeping Jair. We signed Drew Dahlman as our center, and we didn't go get a receiver. Let's say that.
Even if we didn't sign Drew Dahlman, I think I'm still running that Ursary card up to the. I think I'm still running that Ursary card up.
Oh, were you saying Ursary? You wasn't saying Higgins?
No, I was saying Ursary.
Okay,
but Tim's gonna rebuttal me, I'm sure, and say Higgins is the boy to get.
Ursary is 46th on our board, right? And we'll be getting him at 55. Higgins, I think, changed a little bit.
Let me look. Hold on.
Yeah, he changed after we added.
Higgins went to 61.
So that's a lot more palatable here, right? If you go Ursary here, then you can kiss the wide receiver goodbye. And in that scenario, you hope you sign a receiver in free agency, right?
Yep, Tay's coming back. That's my scenario. The scenario in my head, we didn't even sign the center. Tay's coming back to town. Jaws happy that he's got Tay back. They're going to be iron sharpens iron in practice every week.
Get Tim.
We got Ursary. We got Ursary tearing it up. Mason Graham starting, and we are cooking.
Tim, you ain't saying anything, man. Talk to me here. What are you thinking here?
Just drinking it all in, man. You know, drinking it all in. I say grab Derek Harmon and we'll double dip.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Wow, I did not see that coming, Tim.
Got to throw you a curveball once in a while. Can't just give you heaters all the time.
Wow.
By the way, Derek Harmon is 25th on our board.
Here's the guy.
Wow.
I got to make sure I've got this sorted right. I think I do. I just want to double check here. Yeah, Derek Harmon.
I'm all for building that wall, but if you get a Derek Harmon and a Mason Graham,
oh my God,
that wall's tumbling over, man. Practice is going to be rough.
Okay, hear me out. Don't shoot the messenger. Just plain devil's advocate. Pull up corner.
Let's look at corner.
Because we've talked about this. Jair staying or going is irrelevant. We still need to draft at least one corner in this draft.
That's true.
And the earlier we pull the trigger on one, the better prospect we're going to get.
Milio, do you have the draft board up? I just sorted it by corner. Milio stepped away.
I think he just stepped away for a second.
He's got to flip the cutlets. See, he did all this trade debacle, and then he's going to step away. All right, so in terms of corners in order that we have them in value here, Maxwell Harrison, okay, I've got him marked here. Azare Thomas is significantly higher than Maxwell Harrison on our board. So we'll know to look for him with a grade of 71.1. Where's Mello Dotson? He's significantly lower. Kobe Bryant, significantly lower. Noah Williams.
Zy Alexander, where's he at?
Zy Alexander is about 4 or 3 corners below Thomas. So Thomas would be our dude here, but Thomas is an outside corner. So that kind of makes sense, you know? Yeah. It does. Have him compete with Keyshawn for the outside corner spot if it don't work. And Keyshawn and you could have 2 camp battles going there. Thomas and Keyshawn battling for a spot opposite Ja. And you could also have Keyshawn battling Bullard for the slot.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting kind of – either way, you're going to get depth, right? Even if Keyshawn beats him outside there, right?
And so, Thomas almost jumped up 10 spots since Dane's got in there.
Dane's got him at 42, and we'd be taking him at 55. Daniel Jeremiah's got him at 43, and we'd be taking him at 58. If we're going corner, Thomas is my guy here, if we're going corner. So we got that narrowed down to the cornerback would be Thomas. If we added wide receiver, who did we say the wide receiver? We didn't even look at it yet, did we?
What do you mean? It's Higgins if we're taking a receiver. Come on now.
Let's see here. Wide receiver. You just resorted it, didn't you, Emilio? Sorry.
Yeah, Higgins. Let's see, Trey Harris.
What I was doing, Emilio, if you sort by wide receiver,
I got
sort
you.
by position.
Yep, my bad.
We can kind of run down them real quick. There you go. And then just scroll down to wide receiver. So wide receiver, tell me if these guys are available. McMillan's gone, Igbuka's gone, Luther Burden's gone, Golden's gone, right? Higgins is, or let's see here, Trey Harris is there, right? Yeah, Trey Harris is available, but later. Trey Harris will be our best receiver on the board right now. And he fell a little bit too, Tim, by the way. Jaden Higgins closed the gap quite a bit because of Brugler. Brugler had Trey Harris at 68, and he had Jaden Higgins at 48. So,
Wow.
Yeah, that's really interesting. By the time we get to the draft, Higgins may catch up with Trey Harris on our board.
Wow.
Yeah, so right now it's Trey Harris, right, Emilio?
Yes, if we're going wide receiver.
If we go receiver, yeah.
In my head scenario, we're building the trenches, build the wall on offense, and build the wall on defense.
Yeah, so let's go.
Ursary is my boy.
Okay.
I agree. Because, I mean, what do we have for interior O-line that's, like, best available?
On the board here?
Yeah.
According to them, the best would be –
oh, God, no.
Tate, our boy Tate. He's
Tate
always
Ratledge.
hanging around.
There's a
He'll
guard.
be gone. He'll definitely be gone by the time we roll up to 123. He's going to be gone.
Yeah. You know what it almost feels like here, honestly? Where we've got 3 or 4 options.
Trade
feel
back.
like you could trade back right here a few spots. If we trade back from 55 to 59
Yep.
or 60 or 63, let's
I
try
like-
59. What's that?
I like 59. Maybe try to get 91 or 127 and throw in some of our older ones.
Okay.
Give them like that and
Let's see here. Yeah, to get there, we'd have to give up 55 and 23 and 123.
What
You
about
do want to
127?
What's that?
What about if you just got 59, 127 and gave up like 160 or something?
Yeah, they'll actually do that and more. Probably go that route. Right there.
Yeah, just shake that 251. I don't even want that one.
Yeah. He's going to be a bum. All right, so we're going to trade the 55th and the 251st pick for the 59th, the 127, and 135. I like that. Let's offer it and see if they take it. They did. All right, cool. So now, again, we're loading up. There's Ursery still there.
Perfect. Run that card up. That's my boy.
And where was Ursery again on our board overall? We have to sort it again.
Oh,
Here.
sorry.
That's cool. I just want to make sure because I know Harmon was definitely higher than him, but Harmon's now gone, right?
Yeah, Ursery was. Whoops.
And there was a bit of a run on wide receivers, maybe.
Ursery was 49th.
Okay. Ursery's 49th, and we're getting him at 59.
Brugler has him at 50. 33rd has him at 56. DJ doesn't have him, so I'm sure he's probably just shy on the outside. But it was either if we weren't getting Membo, I did like how Ursery was playing.
Yeah. All right. Ursery it is, right? Now, are we going to be able to get a wide receiver? That's the question.
No, but it doesn't matter because we're building the wall in front of Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs.
No, we can still get a decent prospect. I think
when I
it's
make
not going to
this
be one of our favorites, but we can snag.
You got
it.
Romeo in the 4th or 5th round.
That's what I'm saying. We
That's a good
can
point.
steal somebody here.
All right. Well, keep in mind, though, when we make this pick, we're not picking again until 123 unless we do a trade right now. So are we good with that? Wait,
I'm good with it. I'm with Emilio, man. Build the trenches because if we can't protect our quarterback, our receivers aren't going to matter. So
Right.
Got it. All right, Ursery it is. So at the 59th pick, we took offensive tackle Ursery out of Minnesota. So far, our draft picks are Mason Graham,
Love it.
what we see as the 4th best prospect in the entire draft, and Ursery, who was in the 40s for us. So we got great value so far.
okay,
right.
can we look at receiver now? Just
Let's do it.
there it is. Bam. Pat Bryant.
Woo.
Pat
See.
Bryant. That's a good pick. I think who else is on here? Torrey Horton, Colorado State.
There's
I
Nick
think
Nash, too.
Yeah, Nick
Let's-
Nash. There's
Let's do
another
this,
one.
Emilio. Let's sort by wide receiver real quick. Hopefully you wasn't looking at something when I changed
No,
it.
you're good. You're good.
All right, so if we go down, let's look for their best available is Torrey Horton, right?
Fred McFarley. Fred McFarley said, "Trade this pick for DK Metcalf."
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Where's Ricky White at? Is he still available? The UNLV guy?
Mm-hmm.
as it sits
got
right now?
speed,
Torrey
Tim.
Horton, Kobe Jackson, no. Kyle Williams, no. Nick Nash. Where's Nick Nash? Where's Nick Nash at on our board, Emilio? Is
He's
he that
low.
low?
He's
Wow,
low.
he is, isn't he? That's interesting.
Yeah, he's low.
Yeah, so our best receiver will be Torrey Horton here, hands down. And again, his grade is a 68.3. I'm going to sort it, Emilio. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, so 68.3. Remember that? And let's see where he's at on our board. See if we're getting good value here. 68.3 for Torrey Horton is the 76th best pick. And we're getting him at what pick? 123?
Sorted by the wrong one, Clay.
Oh, did I really?
I got you.
Yeah, help
Real
me out.
quick. It just updated.
So
Right.
76, right?
There we go.
All right, and let's look at his size here, Tim. Is Torrey Horton
6'3", 185. Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says Copper's first mock has us drafted Mike Green at 23. I'll be running the card up if he's still there at 23. Amen to that. I'll be
That's
over
fair.
What the hell is a milk hyper anyway?
And
We
a
still haven't got that.
All right. So is that what we're thinking? Or do we definitely want to go wide receiver here, guys?
Oh,
That's
I'm
good.
not saying definitely. I wanted to see who was on the board. I had a
What
feeling
else
there
do
was
we
a
have for
couple.
needs, right? We got, all right, so PFF says we need a wide receiver, center, edge, corner. We've gotten none of those. So besides that, where's Clayton got us? We need a linebacker.
Got Horton at 76, right? So I'm just going to throw these down real quick. No more offensive line, or do you want to add
I mean,
on?
we could put that on the board. I mean,
Just to see.
we thought about taking as many as 3 at one point. So
we need to throw corner up there again, right? Let's go linebacker. So Crenshaw, Dixon, tackle. Who would our best tackle be? Let's do it position by position here. We know who our receiver would be. Let's go corner.
our corner is Alexander.
It's got to be, right? It always is.
I'd almost say pull the trigger, run the card now. Where do we have Zy Alexander again on our board?
So let me make sure he's the best on our board. I'm pretty sure he is, unless Porter's still available, and Porter is not. So if Zy Alexander is our best, sort it by overall for me, Emilio, if you don't care, buddy.
Gotcha. Okay, and done.
And where's Zy at? Zy Alexander. Where are you at, sir? There he is. In the 92 spot. So 92, and we'd be getting him at what pick? 123. So let's see, cornerback, Zy Alexander, and he's in the 92 spot, right?
Correct.
All right, 92. So right now, Horton is almost 20 spots higher than Zy Alexander. What's another position we need to see, boys?
Linebacker? Do we have
linebacker, which probably going to be later on. I know we talked about it a lot later on in the draft, probably, right? Which we have a bunch of picks right there in the 140s, 50s. I think that'll be a perfect spot to grab a couple. So I think we're closing in on wide receiver, corner, or maybe interior or edge would be, or interior O-line or edge would be kind of where we're at, or maybe a tackle. I don't know.
Yeah, and Higgins is going to be our guy. There's no doubt. He's right now the best on the board for us.
Right.
And he's not going until 190, and we got multiple picks.
We can take him with our last pick. That's what I'm saying. Planning it out, I would say Higgins with our
Yeah.
So it's either Zy Alexander or Torrey Horton then.
I like that. I like
that.
That's a battle.
Torrey Horton 76th on our board. Zy Alexander's 92nd. All right. And Zy Alexander will be available. There's a chance either of these could be available at 127, but according to PFF, Horton will go before Zy. So I'm thinking Horton here, boys.
Yeah. I mean, he's no, Jaden Higgins or anything, but
Tim, he is literally the person below Jaden Higgins, though.
I know for sure. I'm not mad about this pick at all.
I really do love that. I mean, he's our 7th best receiver.
Chuck Jagger said he can block.
Unless we take Zy Alexander here and then we swing for Pat Bryant with our next pick or something if he's on the board.
Because we are. Oh, that's so true, Tim. We are up in 4 picks after this. We are up in 4 picks.
But again, keep in mind when we go by position, that Torrey Horton, I want to say he was way better on our board than Pat Bryant.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think Torrey would probably be the pull here, but Zy might still be there in 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Close.
Yeah,
that's true. Let's take Horton. Let's go with Clayton here. I agree.
All right, we're going to go wide.
And even if not, I was going to say, never mind. The only thought is, do we like Pat Bryant? If we were okay with taking Zy, would we like Pat Bryant if he fell to us? Are we okay with Torrey or Pat if they fell to us in 4 picks? Would be the only other question.
I mean, as long as they understand that in Green Bay, it's
no block, no rock.
Exactly right. Here's the difference, guys. Torrey Horton 68.3 is the grade. Pat Bryant 97.8.
Oh, okay, yeah,
okay, yeah. Let's go. Let's take the
right,
Colorado State, baby. Let's go.
Wide receiver Horton. Zy Alexander is there, gents.
Oh my gosh. Run the card. Let's go.
We ain't even waiting.
We ain't got to think about it.
All right, now pick 135. What would you guys
get our boy Powell Ryland. Oh.
Is he good?
APR, I love him, man.
You just like the name. You like DTR last year too. Was that his name?
Yeah.
Who? All right. Powell Rylam, where is he on? I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
No, I do
Sure.
really like him. I loved watching him.
134.3 is his grade, Emilio. 134.3.
134.3. He is 180 on us.
Yeah, so bad pick there. All right.
Bad
What are we
pick.
thinking here? Bad pick. What are you talking about? Let's throw the trenches back up, right?
Yep. Linebacker,
Ace.
linebacker back up there.
Yeah, got to
Hey,
get line. Oh, there's Chase Lunn again. We always take him, right? The one I don't want to get away is Jay Higgins.
yeah.
Chase is 85th on our board. Chase Lunn is 85th on our board. And if we're talking about building the wall in front of Jordan Love, that's a boy to do it.
That's a hell of a pick right there. As a matter of fact, man, that's better value than Zy Alexander. So if we go Chase, here's what we got to do: 160 needs to be earmarked.
Jay
for
Higgins.
Jay Higgins. Okay, that's where
So
we already know where we're spending 160 at. So let's go Chase Lunt here. Is anybody opposed? You said in the 80s, is that right, Amelia?
Yeah, he's 85th on our board.
Damn good pick. I like it.
So, but again, he's just a pure right tackle though.
Tim
He's
is
not.
so right.
You know,
But
he's not even a swing tackle. He's a
Well, listen, if Zach Tom doesn't pan out, then we got us a right tackle.
And I feel like most of these guys are expected to move inside. Like if you're the best player on the line in college, you're playing tackle, and you still might not be good enough to play tackle. You know what I mean? Still in the NFL, you're getting walked inside.
Yeah, it's true.
All right,
Just
you guys
ask
think
Jordan
about it.
Morgan.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So true.
Mike Witt with the super chat. 3rd or 4th round, I wouldn't be surprised if they go after Jared Wilson, center from Georgia. They love Georgia players, and Myers is gone in free agency. Jared Wilson's he's the 2nd best center in the draft according to Dane Brugler. Guess who's first, guys? He's listed as center too. Gray's Abel.
Yeah, I
Really?
was gonna say Gray's
Dane,
Abel.
Dane Brugler has him listed as a center
Wow.
on this big board. So pretty interesting. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat there, Mike. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
where is Jared Wilson on our board?
Let me see. if I can
He's
pull the
on
boy
our
up.
board. I want to say he's fairly high, right, Emilio?
He is our boy at 101.
101.
Mm-hmm.
I would go Gray Zabel then Jared Wilson if we're going to try to draft a center.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that could happen. And whichever one we don't take will end up being the next Creed Humphrey, and the other one will be Josh Myers. That's how that'll work out. So what are we thinking here? Chase Lunt? I think me personally, Tim, I know you – I'm glad you point this out every time that, hey, is he a true right tackle? Is he a left tackle? I'm just going off the precedent of we love to move those tackles inside. I mean, they've been doing it for 3 decades now.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, it's kind of like with Bulaga. Bulaga was a left tackle at Iowa, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to kick him inside. He couldn't do it. And then he ended up settling in at right tackle, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Which worked out because Bakhtiari came along and
beautiful.
worked out. So yeah, I'm cool with Chase Lunn here.
That would be my pick because the value is so good. Emilio, do you disagree?
You already know where I stand. We're welding that thing up.
So Chase Lunt is one that keeps popping up for us, right? It seems like every draft it makes sense. And we're going to switch it up. We're going to use other mock draft databases here pretty soon. All right, now we're at pick 142. What do you want to load up on the board now, Tim? What are we thinking here, man? We don't need another offensive lineman, I don't think. I think we're good
No,
there.
I think we're good there. I would say edge,
Safety.
linebacker.
I like that.
Yeah, safeties. You know, we talked about some of those slot corner type safeties. See who's available.
We need
Yeah,
another
corner.
corner too, I think.
Definitely.
Corner. We could keep corner up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good bunch right there. Corner, safety, edge, and linebacker.
Yep.
So our next pick is going to Jay Higgins.
Jake Shavink says time to get spicy and throw the running backs on the board.
Come on, Jay.
Hey, let's just take a gander. We haven't looked at that much at all, right? Shard Smith, blah, blah, blah. Trevor Etienne. Yeah, I don't see anybody that really grabs my attention there, to be honest with you.
It's the ETN that gets him.
Yeah.
ETN's 190 on our board.
Wait. Go down.
Oh.
Keep going. Ollie Gordon.
Oh, didn't he
Where do
show
we have-
up?
he had a
showed up
great
in
Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Ollie Gordon on our board?
164.
Okay.
Okay, so
Scroll up, though. Scroll up our boy just a little bit with the Jackrabbits there. Yep, Marcus. You get
What's
your Marcus Yarns. He's
Got
the
our
boy.
pass him.
Click on him real quick.
Who?
Marcus
Marcus
Yarns.
Oh,
Yeah,
from Delaware. Gotcha.
yeah, dog.
That's the coolest damn logo I've ever seen. I want
Ah.
to get that tattooed on my butt cheek. Go ahead.
He was the one. He was the one in those were the helmets that look like the Michigan helmets. That's those blue and yellow
okay.
stripes. But dude, just a dog. I mean, obviously different kind of talent over there, but consistent. Only had one bad game against Liberty. Besides that, kind of tore it up. Got better each year. Obviously, a little bit lower this past year, but
That yards after contact. Jesus.
Yeah.
Pete. Where's he at on our board, Emilio? Is he even on our board? We need to add him if he's not.
Is he on our board? I got him right here, 171. He was in the Senior Bowl. He was 12th best.
Emilio's like, let me look for him. He's over here somewhere. Hold on, I'll find him.
Go ahead, Emilio.
I was going to say 12th best in 23 PFF, 50th best in 24 PFF. PFF Big Board had him at 138. Consensus had him at 309. That's kind of what's bringing him down.
Okay. All right, so let's get real here. Let's get serious. It kind of feels like it's probably going to be another linebacker or something.
Or a corner.
Yeah.
What's
Cornerback.
Hustle? Where's he at? Where's
Showing
Hustle?
Quincy Riley. I don't want to sort it on you there, Emilio. You do your thing, buddy.
Hey, if you want a slot, take Upton Stout.
I was going to say, yeah, he's got that slot experience, right? 330.
He's a midget, but he can play.
5'9".
Upton is 154 on our board.
Okay, that's decent value. A little bit of a reach, right? I feel like there's somebody here that we took last night. Quincy Riley's fairly low on our board.
Correct.
It kind of feels like it's going to be back.
Those running backs. There's too many names in there. Get rid of the running backs. I can't even
Sorry,
see.
Jake. We're removing the running backs. Emilio.
There we go. Where's Batty at? Let me just see. I know Jacob knows what that word. He follows baddies around, but
This honestly to me feels like people are going to hate it, but we could trade back here, probably.
oh,
I don't think we should. I'm just saying this would be a good spot.
what are the options to trade back, Clay?
We could trade back to 149, so we'd be going from where are we at right now?
142.
142. So we'd be going back 7 spots. If we did that, we could pick up 256, right? Actually, we go 180. Yeah,
and give him 199. Take 187. Give him 199.
Climb up a little bit there.
I love it. That's
And I said I want David Putney because I feel like it. Give me
There
7.
you go. 7th for next year. Yeah, we got to get that one back that we lost in 27.
All right. 149. Remember, 160 is Jay Higgins, hell or high water. Okay. Look at Quinn Ewers sitting there. That's wild to think that he has fell. Words, Clayton, fell that far. It kind of feels like we need to go back-to-back linebacker here. And we're probably going to take a backer that we have lower on our
CJ
board.
West. Scroll down just a little bit. D lineman CJ West.
Oh, speaking my language. Let's go. Oh, yeah, Indiana. Let's go. Where's he at on our board?
CJ West is 115 on our board.
Are you serious,
Clayton? Run the card up.
East West Shrine, and he met with the cheese. Okay, he met with the PFF 23 was 14th best, PFF 24 21st best, PFF Big Board 160, consensus 191.
6'2", 317. He's thicker than that lap dance that Jacob's giving some chick right now over at the office.
Thick.
He is thick, Coach Half.
After that, Jacob got off. The lady said,
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm a sucker for a buffet.
"Yeah,
Oh my God!
yeah." Mason Graham needs a rookie buddy. Let's get CJ in there.
I remember when this show was somewhat respectable.
Just the tip, though.
Don't be surprised if this is our last week doing the show. At any moment, this thing could fall apart. Oh, all right. We're going CJ West. And while that loads back up, that's a hell of a pick right there, by the way. Good find there, boys. Good find. Both Emilio
That's
and
all
Tim.
Emilio.
Yeah, CJ West. Mike Witt with the super chat. Favorite running back is Woody Marks from USC. Kind of reminds me of Alvin Kamara with the way he runs and catches the ball out of the backfield. So mark that one down. Woody
I
Marsh.
like that, Mark. I like that.
82.
We do have a guy from USC though in the practice squad in the hopper, waiting to get dropped into the field of play.
You talking about Marshawn Lloyd?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying, Tim.
Yeah.
So this is our boy right here, Jay Higgins, right? It's got to be. Now, we might be able to trade back again. Jay Higgins' average draft position is 190. If we trade back to 170, I'll feel okay.
We have 187, Clay.
Yeah, but still, that's cutting it close. It's cutting it real close.
He said, "I need to guarantee I got my boy."
Right. We could go 176 and get a little bit extra, but they probably won't have much. So
The chat thinks we're drunk, just so you guys know.
yeah, I wish I was drunk. At least I'd have an excuse for
Jason
acting
White
like I
bought
was.
us the Daddy Sodas at the beginning of the pod. Obviously, we're taking advantage of that.
We got the doctor accusing us of being on the devil's lettuce too.
That's it. You never know, man. The giggle bush, the devil's
Oh,
lettuce. All right, so we're gonna trade 160 to take 163, and they're gonna give us 225, right?
I don't even want 225. I don't even want
Keep
it.
it. So we're gonna trade back 3 spots, and we're gonna pick up a 7th rounder next year.
Yeah,
A 7th
we're gonna have a
rounder.
lot of 7ths next year. No, wait, you got to go into 2027. We need to rebuttal. Get us a 6 from 27.
They ain't gonna do that. They
Get rid
said
of
no.
the 7th. We don't need the 7th from next year. We don't need that one.
They said no.
Oh.
Amelia. So who you trying to rip off? They won't even. Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
It's I want the 225, man.
All
Get
right.
off my back.
All right. I like it.
All right, let's see if they accept that. They probably won't. They did.
Oh,
Oh, we
it
crushed this
went
draft. You
through.
kidding me? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get Jay Higgins, right? Get that out of the way. Bang, done.
Iowa, Jay Higgins, Iowa.
Oh,
Now we're playing with the house's money, gents. What do we want to see here? Is there anybody that catches? Oh, Jalen Smith that's the wrong Jalen Smith. There's Jake Majors, center from Texas. No. Anybody grab your attention here, Emilio? Anybody at all?
names.
Let's all go
Can you
down
show our
the
picks
beach,
again, Clay?
Johnson.
Can we look at our picks?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. We got Mason Graham with the 5th pick. We got Ariante Ursary with the 59th pick. Torrey Horton with the 123rd. Zy Alexander with 127. Chase Lunt at 135. CJ West 149. Jay Higgins 163. Really what we need is another linebacker, another corner.
And take a peek at tight end too.
Wow.
That's how he whispered that. That was so creepy. All right, let's go. Tight end. Take a peek at that tight end. He said,
Iowa tight end and Iowa tight end.
all right, here we go.
Oh.
Mikey. Ugh.
Oh.
I think he was cleaning toilets before they needed him on the field there. Jalen Smith.
But
Ooh.
Clayton, to your point though, Luke Lakey is 185 on our board, even though he was cleaning
How?
toilets. He's 185.
That's got to be a typo.
PFF 24 179, PFF Big Board 176. Consensus had him at 132.
Where do we got Teddy at? Teddy's
Yeah,
a name that
we're
always
Teddy
pops up.
Buchanan
Remind me
here.
where's Teddy at.
Teddy is swimming at the bottom down there with Jacob.
What brings him down so far? Because
He's
his
206. Oh yeah, okay. So his PFF 23 was 34 overall, 24 was 120. PFF Big Board 217. Consensus is 325. So it's PFF and consensus. Consensus really bringing him down 100 spots, but PFF too.
got it. All right.
Jake says Oronde Gadsden.
Okay, we'll check him out. Look up Jalen Smith real quick, Emilio, cornerback. Jaylin Smith.
He is 197 from USC.
Yeah, not great. I'm assuming that's a tight end that Jake's talking about. Gadsden, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him.
How you spell that? Let's see.
Gadsden.
SDJD.
He's out of Syracuse. Boy, the PFF grades are off the charts.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
man.
Oh, he's 10.
Hello there.
Where's he at, Emilio?
He is a dog. 102 on our board. We have him injured in 23 and no number.
I told you to take a peek at a tight end.
24.
Good catch, Jake Shavink. Let's draft the guy.
We got to
Yeah.
take him now if we're going to take him, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. PFF
You guys
24
down
had
with
him
taking
in
it?
9th overall. Big board 126. Consensus 151.
I will say this though, we you're right, Clay. We do need another backer, assuming.
What's his size? What? How thick is he? Bowl of oatmeal or bowl of grits? How thick is our boy?
He's full of piss and vinegar. 6'5", 236, 21 years.
Thick.
All right, this is going to be in the nines. I guarantee it. What he's doing down here, I have no idea, but let's take him. Y'all good with it?
Yep.
Unless we want a linebacker.
No, I like that. I like
You
that.
like
CJ West can run up and down the field on special teams, Tim. He needs his spot.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Gadsden's
like that.
208 and Lakey is 202. Yeah, we'd be pushing it if we tried to trade back a few spots. Let's just take it. Let's take Gadsden. I mean, that's a borderline top 100 pick right there.
Boom.
Bang. Done. All right. Like you said, Tim, we could use another backer. We could also use another corner, man.
Yep.
I think corner would be the run. Or a safety. Where's Cypress?
Oh, Jalen Walker. We always go with him here, don't we?
Yeah.
Linebacker out of Indiana. Where's Jalen Walker on our board? And then we'll just look at corners. I'm pretty sure Jalen Walker's our guy. It's Jaili. No, Jailin, I believe it is.
Jalon.
Indiana, right?
No, Georgia.
No, we're going.
Oh, I thought you
India.
were talking backer.
Oh,
Yeah.
148. I have him.
Oh yeah, there's two Jalen Walkers.
Yeah, there's several duplicate names, different spelling in this draft. It's threw me off the whole time building the board.
Jalen Walker, edge, not the Georgia guy. Or you're talking backer?
No, the edge is Johnny Walker out of
Okay.
Mizzou.
Yeah, Jalen, the Indiana guy's 148 on our board.
Yeah. Jake Shavink said Gadsden can play big slot, F, and outside wide receiver. He's insane. Let's go, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
That'd be awesome if we could somehow land him in the real draft. All right, so Jalen Walker, where was he at in 140s, Emilio? Is that right? All right, so let's take – he's our backer if we go backer. Who's our corner here? Cypress, sort it by corners. Find Cypress, and then we'll see if we can find these other guys, identify them. That's how I did it earlier. It makes it a lot easier. So if you just find Cypress here. There's Tommy Hill.
Yeah, Tommy Hill's above him.
Yeah, Mac McWilliams, he is right
Above
above Tommy
him.
Hill. Yep. So Mac McWilliams, then Cam Miller. Where's Cam Miller? Don't see him anywhere. Nope.
Cypress.
Maury Simmons. No.
Jabbar Muhammad. He's up further.
Stud there, right? BJ Adams is the last one. He's significantly lower. So, or is he? Let's see.
Yep. No, he's lower.
Okay. So Jabbar Muhammad has a 157.6 grade. All right. And now let's go down to linebacker. What we say, 156? What did I just say? What was that number?
157.6.
All right, 157.6. And then who's the backer we were looking at? Jalen, right?
Correct.
Jalen, 114. Jalen's the guy.
I like it.
Significantly higher. So Jalen Walker is the dude here.
And we're expecting our boy from Penn State to step up, the corner. King,
Who's
right?
that?
Or not
Yeah,
King.
Kalen King. Kalen King. I like it.
King.
I mean, really, we'll look at the draft here. We went way over. This is awesome. This was fun, man. We'll look at it and kind of talk about what the cornerback room would look like. Because in this scenario, we're keeping Ja, right?
What's our grade? I think we aced that draft.
Think so. B, not bad.
That's our best. That's one of our
Jay
better.
Higgins always bringing it down. All right, so this is the trade up aggressively. Let me screenshot this real quick so we don't lose it before we move on. Bang. All right, so again, we went with we traded up, got really aggressive with the 5th overall pick. We went Mason Graham, all right, and then we traded back and we got Ariante Ursary, tackle out of Minnesota with the 59th pick. The 123rd pick, we took Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of Colorado State. 127, we went cornerback Zy Alexander. 135, we went tackle Chase Lunt. 149, we went defensive lineman C.J. West. 163, we went linebacker Jay Higgins. We traded again, and then 187, we went tight end Aronde Gadsden out of Syracuse. And then with the 225th pick, we took Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Indiana. In this scenario, think about our cornerback room. John on the outside, Zy Alexander competing with Keyshawn Nixon on the outside, right? Along with Carrington Valentine, by the way, who in my opinion was our best corner last year outside of Jair. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. So Really what you've got is a three-way battle between Zy Alexander, Keyshawn Nixon, and Carrington Valentine for that outside corner spot opposite of Ja. Bullard's in the slot. If those two guys, if Carrington or Zy Alexander beats Keyshawn out for that other corner spot, then you've got Keyshawn there to back up Javon Bullard in the corner in the slot spot, right?
And like we said, don't forget about Kalen King. Hopefully
exactly.
he takes a jump too.
Yeah, I like this draft a lot. What do y'all think, man?
I love it.
I think it's up there. Like Emilio said, if this isn't our best so far, it's certainly second. You know, it's definitely one of our better ones.
We've been talking about wanting a 3-tech that's a game changer. When was the last time we went up into the fifth? When was the last time we were top 10 was AJ Hawk? When was the last time we were top 5 was BJ Raji? I mean, we've been diving at the bottom of the draft for a long time. I wouldn't be opposed to giving it a shot at the front.
Yeah.
Yep.
No doubt.
And I expect us to be chasing Lombardi's the next 2 years. So if we are giving up a first, it's a super late first, pushing an early second. We'll figure out the rest of those numbers later on. You know, we can move picks later on, but I would expect our team to be in a good shape to be chasing that the next 2 years.
Yeah. I like it, man. I think we learned a lot tonight, dude. I do. I'm going to save this. What should we save it as?
Save it as PFF doesn't like Iowa linebackers.
Save it as Mason Graham is that dog. Mason Graham dog.
Trade up top 5 is what I'll say.
And you're tweeting that out and you're saying how many people love this.
And we're going to get raked over the coals like always.
Clayton just lost 400 followers.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're chasing those 4,000 subs. We just lost half of them right there.
All right, boys, parting thoughts. Anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up here, man?
I got nothing, man. I think that was great.
Great show.
Fun. No doubt. All right, guys, that's it. We're going to get out. I'm going to go downstairs, fill out these divorce papers, call it a night, sleep on the couch. She'll probably even take the dogs with her. That'll be in the paperwork. I guarantee it. Shout out to Jason Y for the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Too generous. Badger Trio with a couple super chats. Appreciate you. Mike Witt bringing it home with multiple super chats as well. You guys are awesome. So we'll see you in the morning for Good Morning Lambeau at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Fellas, thank you for your time. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Talk to you soon.
And we go. We out. Bye, guys.